Yes, very good morning, my dear students. Today I'm going to start with the second part of the microbes in human welfare. The last day we have already covered the first. Today I'm going to start with the second part of the microbes in human. Yes, again a technical glitch. Yes. So we're going to start with the microbes in human welfare. This topic, as far as NEET is concerned, is very, very important because you can expect questions and there's going to be direct questions. There won't be any concept-based questions because it's a completely knowledge-based chapter. If you study it hard, definitely you will be able to answer it. Whatever topic that we have covered in the last class, we have covered about the bioactive molecules, chemicals, enzymes, and bioactive molecules. We've also covered the basic household products that we use, normally the microbes that we use on a regular basis in household products, like lab, like toddy, like cheese. We have talked about those. And also what we have covered in the last class is about the microbes that are used in industrial products, as I used industrial products. Like we have talked about penicillin, we have talked about Acetobacter aceti, Aspergillus niger, citric acid production in large scale. We've also talked about the different bioactive molecules in the form of the agents which we can get from the different types of microbes in the form of streptokinase enzyme, where we get it from Streptococcus bacteria, and they act as clot buster. So हम ये जानते हैं कि ये clot buster की तरह काम करता है. A patient suffering from myocardial infarction or heart attack, they can, for them this is the main medicine or drug that is being used over them. The second one is about Trichoderma polysporum. It's a fungus from which we can get a product called cyclosporin A. So वो product का नाम क्या है? Cyclosporin A, which can act as immunosuppressive drug. So it is normally being given to the patients having organ transplantation. Thirdly, we have talked about a yeast called Monascus purpureus, wherefrom we can get the blood cholesterol lowering agent called statins. So these, and definitely in the bottled juice, we normally want to get transparent bottled juice. वहाँ पे क्या use करना पड़ता है? What is the enzyme that we have to use? Is about pectinase enzyme, about cellulase enzyme. And there are some detergents where we can use an enzyme called lipase. We can remove the oily stains. ये सब topic हम last class में complete कर लिए हैं. Today we are concerned about the sewage treatment plant and also the microbes which are used as biofertilizer. In the last class also we have talked about the biogas plant, where we have talked about the methanogens, how methane gas is produced, and what is the percentage of methane gas and carbon dioxide in a biogas plant. ये सब हम cover कर लिए हैं in the last very class. So let us start with today's class called sewage treatment plant. So let us start from there. Okay? So when we talk about microbes, which are microbes in human welfare, this is a chapter. In this chapter, we are going to talk about STP, sewage treatment plant. Sewage treatment plant. Sewage treatment plant. Now, what is the meaning of the term sewage? Sewage मतलब क्या है? Basically, it is called as a municipal waste. It is called as a municipal waste. And this waste contains what? ये municipal waste है. And we cannot directly help this municipal waste get into the river water and make the river water polluted. ये हम कर नहीं सकते हैं. इसको directly हम river water में डाल नहीं सकते हैं. We are not being able to. We should not. Why? Because ultimately, what is going to happen? Through that water body, every other organisms who depends upon this water body are going to get contaminated. So municipal waste is a sewage. And what is the main component of this sewage? इस sewage का main component क्या है? What is the main component of this sewage? Sewage का main component क्या है? The component of sewage is mainly, it contains some undissolved solid particles. Some undissolved solid particles, which are particles which are in large in size, which can be large in size. And there can be also undissolved solid particles, but there can be some smaller one, some small sized solid particles can be also there. Along with that, in this composition we can talk about some organic wastes, and in this component we can talk about some of the microbes, which are other microbes which are present inside this particular municipal wastes. So what we need to do, हमें क्या करना है? What we need to do is we have to clear out all these organic materials, because more the organic wastes, more is the BOD. More the organic waste, more is the BOD. जितना ज्यादा ऑर्गेनिक मटेरियल होगा उतना पानी में BOD बढ़ जाएगा. What is BOD? It is called biochemical oxygen demand or biological oxygen demand. That means the demand by the bacteria. The demand by bacteria on what? On oxygen to break down the waste product. More the BOD, more the organic waste, and more is the pollution rate. So water kitna polluted hai depends upon the biological oxygen demand, and the biological oxygen demand depends upon the amount of organic waste present. So organic waste जितना ज़्यादा होगा उतना pollution होगा, उतना BOD बढ़ेगा. So we need to take care of this organic waste. We need to take care about the undissolved large and small particles from the municipal waste or sewage, and also we need to remove the organic waste. Clear? अब यहाँ पे दो concept है. एक है ये अनडिजॉल्व स्मॉल और लार्ज पार्टिकल्स, इसका जो ट्रीटमेंट होगा, दैट ट्रीटमेंट विल बी कॉल्ड एज प्राइमरी ट्रीटमेंट. द ट्रीटमेंट विल बी कॉल्ड एज प्राइमरी ट्रीटमेंट. और ऑर्गेनिक वेस्ट, if we break down the organic waste, if we decompose the organic waste by the help of bacteria, by the help of what? Bacteria. अगर हम अलाउ करेंगे बैक्टीरिया को इस ऑर्गेनिक वेस्ट के ऊपर, so that it dissolves, it digests the organic waste and make the sewage clearer, then this kind of treatment will be called as secondary treatment. So for your MCQ purpose, whenever we talk about bacteria, we are talking about secondary waste, secondary treatment, and whenever we are talking about primary treatment, that means वहां पे दो पॉइंट इंपॉर्टेंट है. प्राइमरी ट्रीटमेंट में there is no utilization of any bacteria. We are not using any bacteria to decompose the organic waste. But we are going to talk about in primary treatment about 2 points. दो पॉइंट primary treatment में important है, and the 2 points in primary treatment which are most important is number 1 is filtration. First step is what? Filtration करना पड़ेगा. This is the first step of primary treatment. And the second step for this primary treatment is sedimentation. There are 2 processes of primary treatment. I think you are getting me. First one is sequential filtration. What is the meaning of this? अच्छा, अगर इसको थोड़ा सा ऐसे देख लेते हैं. सोचो, ये एक ऐसा टैंक है जहां पे there are some large particles which got sedimented. There are some small particles which got sedimented also. और इस टैंक में आ रहा है क्या? What is coming up from the municipal waste is sewage. क्या आ रहा है यहाँ पे? Sewage is getting in this tank. This tank, यहाँ पे This particular sewage contains the compositions like it can contain organic matter, it can contain undissolved small particles, it can contain undissolved large particles, and this contains the organic content. So in the first step, what we are doing is we are making the first step as a sequential filtration. उसके बाद क्या करेंगे? Then we are going to go for sedimentation. So this one is connected with another tank where this organic matter is going to be able to come up. Organic matter comes over here. The organic matter comes over here. So यहाँ पे क्या हो गया? Settle कर गया the large particles and small particles. पहले large particles settle कर जाएंगे and then this water will be allowed, the sewage is going to be allowed to come to the next settling tank where the small particles are going to get settled down. And along with that, यहाँ पे क्या रहेगा? Organic content, organic water, the sewage containing organic content will be present over here. So यहाँ पे क्या हो गया? Sequential filtration हो गया. यहाँ पे कुछ filtration किया गया, then sedimentation allow किया गया. So these settled smaller particles, the settled larger particles, together we call them as primary sludge. So in your NCERT there are some terms. ये terms से question तो आएंगे और वो term क्या है? Primary sludge. So ये है primary sludge. Now this water which is having organic content, इसको कहाँ पे भेजना पड़ेगा? In the secondary treatment. So ये दोनों मिलके क्या हो गया? These two together has become primary treatment. These two together has become primary treatment. And when we talk about secondary treatment, मतलब what should come immediately in our mind? This should come in our mind. That this particular second treatment will be done by the bacteria which is going to feed upon the organic content and make the sewage filtered. Okay? Now, let us consider about secondary treatment. So when we talk about secondary treatment it consists of treatment. It consists of what? It consists of three types of tanks. Say this is one tank. और इस टैंक में क्या आ गया? कौन सा क्या आ गया? The particular water which has come up from the sedimentation and filtration unit. मतलब primary treatment के बाद वो sewage is now allowed to reach over here in this particular tank where there is a mechanical agitator. ऐसा फैन की तरह कुछ है जो ऐसे मूव करेगा and it is going to slowly agitate. So this is called mechanical agitator. क्या है ये? This is mechanical agitator. And if this particular sewage which is not having the small sized and large sized undissolved particles, so it's containing what? Organic waste. This organic waste will be now fed upon by the bacteria. Which kind of bacteria? If you make mechanical agitator, अगर आप यहाँ पे mechanical agitator रखते हो, this agitator is going to slowly move this particular water body so that oxygen gets inside and the aerobic bacteria feeds upon the organic material and make this particular sewage free from organic waste. Now this particular, so ये था पहला tank. This tank, इसके बाद this tank is again connected with another tank. It is again connected with another tank. Fine. Another tank. और ये tank में क्या हो गया? ये यहाँ पे और भी बैक्टीरिया ऐड किया गया, यहाँ पे और भी बैक्टीरिया ऐड किया गया, इसको सेटल करने दिया गया. So we can also call it as a settling tank. We can also call it as a settling tank. And in this settling tank, there are some more bacteria, and these are aerobic bacteria, which are feeding on the left out organic matter. So जो organic matter है, उसका left out product को, organic matter को भी फिर से डाइजेस्ट करना स्टार्ट कर दिया कौन? ये बैक्टीरिया, दिस बैक्टीरिया. एंड यहां से ये जो बैक्टीरिया है, यहां से थोड़ा सा कनेक्शन इसके साथ फिर से कनेक्टेड है. व्हाई? बिकॉज स्मॉल अमाउंट ऑफ दिस बैक्टीरिया इज रिक्वायर्ड ऑन अ रेगुलर बेसिस एज इनोकुलम. जैसे कर्ड बनाने के लिए वी नीड अ स्मॉल अमाउंट ऑफ बैक्टीरिया इनोकुलम. This particular settling tank is connected with this particular aerobic digester or mechanical agitator. यहाँ पे क्या हो गया? We can also call it as aerobic digester. Aerobic digester includes the aerobic bacteria which are going to digest upon the organic matter. Now, what is going to happen over here? ये inoculum की तरह काम करेगा. कुछ बैक्टीरिया यहाँ पे आ जाएंगे. Some of the bacteria is going to come over here and help in the digestion of this particular the organic content of the sewage. Now this particular settling tank is further connected with another tank which is not having any connection with oxygen. So there is no oxygen present, no O2 present, no oxygen present. And this particular sewage, which is being digested by aerobic bacteria, when reaches over here, this particular bacteria will be now digested by, sewage will be now digested by anaerobic sludge digester. So you can see the same, the same information is being given in your NCERT. It is called anaerobic sludge digester. Now, think about it. If this particular sewage is being given bacteria to feed upon, then this particular sludge will be called as activated sludge. This is a very, very important term. Activated sludge. Activated sludge. Now, very, very important is in this first tank which starts with a secondary treatment plant. In this particular first tank, we can see there's a mechanical agitator, and also what we can see is some of the fungus is having huge amount of bacteria associated with them, and they have made what? They have made flocks. So what are flocks? Flocks are nothing but association of fungus with bacteria. So they make this flocks, and these flocks also sometime come over here. These flocks also come over here, and mind you, these flocks from this aerobic digester can come down over here in the anaerobic sludge digester, and this anaerobic bacteria can feed upon the whole biomass of this particular flocks. That means even the flocks are being digested ultimately by the anaerobic sludge digester. So anaerobic जो बैक्टीरिया है वो इस flocks को भी digest कर लेते हैं. So this particular water is now ready to go for tertiary treatment. जहाँ पे from this particular water body which is completely clear, having no bacteria, having no organic matter, can be further treated to make a potable water. इससे potable drinking water भी हम बना सकते हैं, and that is what is called as tertiary treatment. Is this clear? So this kind of this whole process is about STP. This whole process is about STP. So let us get this particular idea. What NCERT has got to say. तो हम जो बोले हैं अभी, whatever we have talked about right now, let us check it with the NCERT statement, and in which year, what kind of question came. Let us see that. The topic is microbes in sewage treatment. The treatment of wastewater is done by the heterotrophic microbes. What is heterotrophic microbes? Those microbes which depend upon the other organisms for their food. Sewage treatment is carried out in 2 stages. The first stage is primary treatment. What is primary treatment? Basically involves physical removal of particles. क्या करना है? पार्टिकल को फिजिकली रिमूव करना पड़ेगा. कौन सा पार्टिकल? स्मॉल पार्टिकल, लार्ज पार्टिकल फ्रॉम स्वेज. द फर्स्ट स्टेप इज फिल्ट्रेशन एंड द सेकंड स्टेप इज सेडिमेंटेशन. इस फिल्ट्रेशन को क्या कहते हैं? व्हाट वी कॉल दिस फिल्ट्रेशन एज, वी कॉल इट एज अ सीक्वेंशियल फिल्ट्रेशन, बिकॉज सीक्वेंस में फिल्टर किया जाता है and then it is allowed to get into the sedimentation tank. These are removing stages. Number 1, initially floating debris is removed by sequential filtration. याद रहे, these terms are very very important for NEET. Sequential. So कौन सा sequential filtration के लिए जाता है? The first one is the floating debris. उस पानी के अंदर, उस स्वेज के अंदर जो फ्लोटिंग डेब्री है वो sequential filtration के लिए जाता है. Then the grit. What is grit? That is the soil and pebbles are removed by sedimentation. किस तरह से? Soil और pebbles को कैसे remove करेंगे? By the help of sedimentation. All solids that settle from the first sludge, that is primary sludge. All solids that settle from the primary sludge. Primary sludge में क्या हो गया? Settle कर गया. कौन settle कर गया? The solid particles. The supernatant जो ऊपर है, settle करने के बाद जो ऊपर है, it forms the effluent. And this effluent is called primary effluent. This term we have missed. ये थोड़ा देख लेना पड़ेगा यहाँ पे. This is ये जो effluent है यहाँ पे आता है. This effluent is called primary effluent. Settling के बाद जो आता है यहाँ पे, this is called primary effluent. Primary effluent. Okay, let's get back. Now, the effluent from primary settling tank is taken for secondary treatment. So primary settling tank say it is being taken to the secondary treatment. Now this is about secondary treatment. So what it has got to say? What NCERT says? NCERT says that the primary effluent is passed into the aeration tank. एक ऐसा टैंक जहां पे मैकेनिकल एजिटेटर है, constantly agitated mechanically, and air pumped into it. So जब ये mechanically आस्ते आस्ते वो is going to allow the primary effluent to move, so automatically oxygen is going to get in and activate the aerobic bacteria, and these aerobic bacteria is going to feed on the organic waste. This allows vigorous growth of useful aerobic microbes into flocks. Flocks means it's a system between bacteria and fungi. Flocks are the masses of bacteria associated with fungal filaments to form mesh-like structure. This is very very important for your NEET examination. Flocks important है NEET के लिए. While growing, these microbes consume the major part of the organic matter in the effluent. This reduces the BOD. ये क्या करेगा? BOD को घटा देगा. Biological oxygen demand जितना बढ़ेगा, that means more the BOD is directly proportional to organic matter. जितना ज्यादा organic matter होगा उतना ज्यादा BOD होगा. And this is also directly related with what? More the organic matter, more is the pollution. Now, once the BOD of sewage water is reduced, the effluent is then passed into settling tank. अब secondary treatment में settling tank है where the bacterial flocks are allowed to sediment. इस settling tank में bacterial flocks को sediment करने के लिए allow किया जाता है. And this sediment is called as now activated sludge. क्यों activated? ये term use किया गया. It is activated by bacterial presence. So bacteria जब digest करेगा, then only we are going to call it as an activated sludge. So now it is now called as activated sludge. A small part of the activated sludge is pumped back into, देखो, a small part of the activated sludge is pumped back into the aeration tank to serve as inoculum or starter. जैसे कर्ड बनाने के लिए स्टार्टर चाहिए, सेटिंग टैंक से स्मॉल अमाउंट ऑफ दैट अमाउंट जस्ट नाउ वी हैव टॉक्ड अबाउट कि ये कैसे होता है, This is how it happens. See, from this particular settling tank, a small amount of bacteria comes back to this particular tank as inoculum or as a starter. Okay, now the remaining major part of the activated sludge is pumped into the large tanks called anaerobic sludge digester, or बाद बाकी anaerobic sludge digester, that is tank number 3. Final tank में आता है, which we call it as anaerobic sludge digester. In anaerobic sludge digesters, anaerobic bacteria grow and digest the bacteria and fungi in the sludge. देखो, anaerobacteria flocks को digest कर लिया. That means bacteria और fungus जो grow किया था उसको भी digest कर लेता है anaerobic sludge digester. During digestion, bacteria produce a mixture of gases such as methane, hydrogen sulfide, and carbon dioxide. These gases form biogas. Digestion के समय they make methane, hydrogen sulfide, and carbon dioxide, which makes the biogas. So in the last class we have already talked about biogas plant. कौन सा ministry इसमें help करता है? The Ministry of Environment and Forest, important, has initiated Ganga Action Plan and Yamuna Action Plan to save these rivers from pollution. So ministry का नाम याद रखना पड़ेगा. What is the ministry? The Ministry of Environment and Forest. Ministry of Environment and Forest, important for NEET. ये chapter knowledge based है, concept based नहीं है. So आपको ये याद ही करना पड़ेगा. There is no other way out. So Ganga Action Plan gap and Yamuna Action Plan gap, ये किसने इनिशिएट किया? कौन सा मिनिस्ट्री? मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एनवायरमेंट एंड फॉरेस्ट. Okay, so that was all about STP. Now we are left with microbes as biocontrol agents. Microbes as biocontrol agents. Yes, microbes as biocontrol agents. So we can use some of the microbes as biocontrol agents. वो क्या है? Biocontrol refers to the use of biological methods. अब ये microbes को क्यों use कर रहे हैं? थोड़ा सा पहले देख लेते हैं, उसके बाद हम आएंगे back. Yes, let us talk about this particular organism and this particular term called biomagnification. क्यों हमें चाहिए microbes as biocontrol agent? बायोमैग्निफिकेशन एक ऐसा टर्म है जो अभी आपके बुक से निकाला गया है. इट्स अ डिलीटेड टॉपिक, बट आई थिंक यू नो अबाउट दिस अ बिट. आई थिंक वी ऑल ऑफ अस वी नो अबाउट DDT. व्हाट इज DDT? फुल फॉर्म ऑफ DDT इज डाइक्लोरोडाइफिनाइल ट्राइक्लोरोइथेन. सो डाइक्लोरोडाइफिनाइल trichloroethane. So DDT is this ethane. Now this DDT is normally used as pesticide, and to be specific they are called as insecticide. That means side means killing. So insect killing agents are called insecticides. So when these farmers, as because you know what are pests? Pests are those organisms which can economically harm us. So to get rid of this pest, farmers के पास क्या था? ये chemical था. They used to spray on those crops. जहाँ पे pest थे तो pest मर जाएंगे. But ultimately, we know one of the characteristics of this DDT is they are non-biodegradable substance. That means ये नेचर में कोई बैक्टीरिया नहीं है जिसको हजम कर पाएगा, जिसको इराडिकेट कर पाएगा. So what is going to happen once you make this DDT and spray on the crops? तो वो क्रॉप में ड्यू टू रेन वाटर से वो वॉश हो जाएगा, and this DDT is going to ultimately flow into river through the rain water. So river is an aquatic ecosystem. So in this aquatic ecosystem, what is the food chain? aquatic ecosystem में, food chain में कौन आएगा number 1? Well, the producers. The producer number 1 is phytoplanktons. So this DDT is going to come down over here in the planktons. Phytoplanktons के body में लग जाएगा. Phytoplanktons को खाएगा कौन? Zooplankton. तो अगर zooplankton phytoplankton को खाएगा, so the DDT amount is going to get increased in the zooplankton. अगर comparison करें, say for example 0.01% है DDT in phytoplankton, zooplankton में हो जाएगा 0.05%. And then third, the zooplankton will be now eaten up by small fishes. So small fishes के body में ये सोचो 2% आ गया और उसको खाएगा large fish. Small fish will be eaten up by large fish and large fishes will be having say 5% of the DDT. So through food chain, the DDT, which is a non-biodegradable substance, gets bioaccumulated first in the body. और उस बॉडी को जब दूसरा ऑर्गेनिज्म खाएगा तो वो हो जाएगा बायोमैग्निफिकेशन. सो आई हैव यूज्ड टू टर्म्स. वन इज बायोअक्यूमुलेशन, one is bioaccumulation. So what is bioaccumulation? When the content gets inside the body. So ये DDT या नॉन बायोडिग्रेडेबल सब्सटेंस एक ऑर्गेनिज्म के कहां पे ज्यादा स्टोर्ड होते हैं? They get stored inside fats and they remain like that. That is why we should not feed on any type of colored products, colored drinks. तो वो जो कलर है उसमें डाई है, कलर है. ये कलर डाइजेस्ट करने वाला कोई मैकेनिज्म हमारे बॉडी में है नहीं. So this particular color gets deposited in a person who is obese. उसके adipose tissue में रह जाता है and it remains as a bioaccumulated form. So this is what is bioaccumulation. But if it passes off from one trophic chain, one trophic level to the other, we call that term as biomagnification. So क्या हो गया? DDT का biomagnification हो गया. अब large fish में कितना है? Large fish is now containing 5% of the protein, 5% of the DDT. Now the large fish will be eaten up. In Australia, there was a fowl called peregrinous fowl. It's a bird, just like falcon. And what happened? In 1984, a scientist named Radcliffe found that this peregrinous fowl died. And they were dying in a greater rate. And when the dead body was examined, they found huge amount of DDT. Now when the peregrinous fowl is going to feed upon the large fish, इसके बॉडी में ये अमाउंट बढ़ेगा या घटेगा? Through biomagnification. Bio मतलब life, magnification मतलब the increase in that particular magnifying amount of the DDT. Peregrinous fowl was having huge amount of DDT. And peregrinous fowl, because they used to feed on the large fish, इसके बॉडी में DDT लेवल बढ़ गया through biomagnification, and this increased level of DDT resulted in thinning of the eggshell. Why? Because DDT disrupts the calcium metabolism. और shell बनता किससे है? The egg shell is made up of calcium, mainly carbonates. So calcium में disrupt करेगा, calcium metabolism gets disrupted. So calcium level is going to come down and the egg shell is going to become thinner. So जब peregrinous fowl अंडा देने के बाद hatch करने के लिए बैठता था, the egg used to break down. So new life, new bird never arose. आस्ते आस्ते peregrinous fowl was becoming extinct due to the usage of DDT. देखो DDT कौन यूज किया? फार्मर ने यूज किया अपने क्रॉप में to get rid of the pest. पर एक्सटिंक्शन में चला गया कौन? दूसरा ऑर्गेनिज्म जिसका कोई ताल्लुक नहीं था इसके साथ. To avoid this, there is a strong need of a type of mechanism we have to have which is not going to kill the non-specific organisms. So there has to be some setup जहां पे we need to kill the specific organisms जो harm कर रहे हैं. And there comes the biocontrol agent. There comes the biocontrol agent. और यहाँ पे इस biocontrol agent में, in this biocontrol agent जो हम microbes को use कर रहे हैं, using microbes in biocontrol agent, one of the example that is there in your book is about Bt cotton. So there are, Bt cotton is a genetically modified plant. It's a GM plant. Now there are many of the examples like Bt brinjal. Bt brinjal is now being produced. Bt brinjal, Bt cotton was already there. So ये सब GM plant है, genetically modified plant है. These are genetically modified plants. अब थोड़ा सा बता दें आपको how we have been able to take care of this cotton plant and उसका जो pest है उससे हम बचाए कैसे. Now the pest of the cotton plant, basically there are two of them. One is corn borer and the one is cotton bollworm. ये उसका main pest है. These two pests, insects, are the main pest for this cotton plant. तो इस cotton plant को बचाए कैसे? क्या केमिकल रिलीज करें, केमिकल इसके ऊपर इंजेक्ट करें इंसेक्टिसाइड की तरह? नो. इसका रिजल्ट हमें मिल गया कि ऐसे केमिकल पेस्टिसाइड्स यूज करेंगे तो इसको तो ये तो मरेगा, बट इसके साथ दूसरा कुछ भी ऑर्गेनिज्म भी मरने वाले हैं और एक्सटिंक्ट करने वाले हैं. So what we have done, we have taken Bt. What is Bt? Bt is the name of the bacteria called Bacillus thuringiensis. Bacillus thuringiensis is the name of the bacteria. And this bacteria, this Bt called Bacillus thuringiensis, ये जो बैक्टीरिया है, this bacteria, it makes a gene, it is having a gene, and this gene is called cry gene. This gene is called cry gene, and this cry gene, it produces mRNA, and this mRNA produces a protein which is called as crystalline protein. और इसको कहते हैं क्राई प्रोटीन, CRY, क्राई प्रोटीन. ये कैपिटल में है and this CRY is a gene which is in a small letter. So this crystalline protein basically is insecticidal protein, मतलब ये इंसेक्टिसाइड की तरह काम कर सकता है. So it can act as insecticidal protein. That means it can break down, it can kill the insects. Now ये क्राई जीन जो क्राई प्रोटीन बनाता है बॉडी में इन बैक्टीरिया, they remain as protoxin, मतलब inactive toxin. They remain as inactive toxin. तो ये एक्टिवेट कब होगा? This inactive toxin can only get activated. It can only get activated if it gets alkaline pH. And then it becomes activated toxin. Clear? Now, तो बैक्टीरिया के बॉडी में तो ये हार्म नहीं करता है because it remains in inactive form. But if you inject this particular Bacillus thuringiensis gene, cry gene को अगर आप इस कॉटन प्लांट के अंदर इंजेक्ट करोगे, किस फॉर्म से, किस प्रोसेस से? We are going to study all those concepts in biotechnology. So this gene is being inserted in the cotton plant by the process of recombinant DNA technology. क्या नाम है? recombinant DNA technology से हम उसको insert करेंगे in cotton plant by the help of a bacteria called Agrobacterium tumefaciens. ये और भी इंटरेस्टिंग है, हम पढ़ेंगे इन बायोटेक्नोलॉजी. Agrobacterium tumefaciens is the name of the bacteria. And they have got a plasmid which is called as TI plasmid. क्या नाम है इसका? TI plasmid. What is TI stands for? Tumor inducing plasmid. Okay, ये plasmid लेने के बाद the cry gene is being inserted. ये TI प्लास्मिड है और ये क्राइजीन है, दिस इज क्राइजीन, सो क्राइजीन ये हो गया रिकॉम्बिनेंट DNA, दिस इज क्राइजीन, and then this particular rDNA is put back inside the bacteria called Agrobacterium tumefaciens, and this bacteria is being allowed to infect the cotton plant. So क्या होगा, cotton plant में infect करके वो rDNA insert कर देगा inside the plant body, and then the plant is having the BT gene. Now the plant is having the BT gene. So हम क्या कहेंगे इस plant को? Now we are going to call this plant as BT cotton, and it's a genetically modified plant. Now the concept is the insects comes under phylum Arthropoda. The insects comes under phylum Arthropoda, and Arthropoda phylum consists of many of the class. Some of the class which are most important are class Insecta, which is called as the largest class. Then the second largest class is class Crustacea, and there are some other classes. Among them, one of the class I am going to talk about right now is about class Arachnida. ऐसे बहुत सारे class we have talked about in the chapter Animal Kingdom. You can have a watch, is there in the video. Animal Kingdom के 10-12 videos हैं. You can just have a look on phylum Arthropoda, which is the largest phylum. So बहुत सारे class order के बारे में we have talked about. Now class Insecta के अंदर there are some special orders. There are many orders, but I am talking about 3 orders. One of the order is order Diptera. The second order is order Coleoptera, and the third order is order Lepidoptera. Lepidoptera. Now, Diptera, di means what? 2. Ptera means wings. So there are 2 pairs of wings, and this Diptera, it consists of what? The examples are mosquito, examples are moth, examples are butterfly. Fine. Under Coleoptera, the examples is beetle, and then there is a rice weevil named Cytophilus oryzae. It's a stored grain pest of rice, Cytophilus oryzae, ZAE. And under Lepidoptera, the examples are armyworm, tobacco budworm, and cotton bollworm. देखो आ गया ना, ये cotton bollworm किसके अंदर आ गया? Lepidoptera under class Insecta, under phylum Arthropoda. These 3 order under class Insecta are very very important for BT. Why? Because in तीनों order के जो insects हैं, the insects they have got head, thorax and abdomen. We know that the body is divided into head, thorax and abdomen. अगर ये head है, this is head, this part is thorax, and this part is abdomen. Now in the head region, you can see there is a gut, there is a foregut, then there is a midgut. अगर cockroach का याद है, यहाँ पे crop है, gizzard है, then there is a hindgut present, colon present and rectum. Clear? Now this is the foregut. ये क्या है? Foregut. What is this? Mesenteron or midgut? And this is hindgut. Okay? Now ये जो foregut है, in this foregut, what you can see is salivary gland. Now this particular plant, this particular insect feeds on the tobacco leaf or tobacco corn or the tobacco plants product. कौन सा plant? Not tobacco, about cotton. अब ये cotton plant में BT gene हर एक सेल में है. Now the moment they are going to feed on that, तो BT gene वाला क्राइजीन भी यहाँ पे आ जाएगा. क्राइजीन में प्रोटॉक्सिन्स है, ये salivary gland है. Now the salivary gland is going to secrete alkaline secretion. So in presence of alkaline secretion, the protoxin produced by the cry-gene present inside the plant changes into protoxin, which is inactive. But this inactive toxin, in presence of alkaline pH, in presence of alkaline pH becomes active toxin, becomes active toxin. और ये टॉक्सिन कहां पे पहुंचेगा? In the midgut, and in the midgut there are some special type of membrane called as peritrophic membrane. क्या नाम है? Peritrophic membrane. And this peritrophic membrane is unique only in these three orders, that is Diptera, Coleoptera and Lepidoptera. Peritrophic membrane, they have the receptors for this active toxin. जब ये active toxin यहाँ पे पहुंचेगा, the receptors are going to bind with those active toxin and immediately dissolve the midgut. Instantaneously the insects are going to die. तो इंसेक्ट ने अपना फूड खाना स्टार्ट कर दिया और मर गया. कौन सा इंसेक्ट? जो इंसेक्ट हार्म कर रहा था वो कौन सा था? कॉटन बॉलवर्म एंड कॉर्न बोरर. फाइन. They come under which kind of orders? Lepidoptera, Diptera and Coleoptera. And so इसमें से क्या हो गया? Specific organism ही मरा. It kills specific pest. It is going to kill specific pest. So that is why BT cotton को और या BT के बारे में हमें इस टॉपिक में पढ़ना है, because we are using a microbe called bacteria in controlling the pests. So ये था BT. The next one is we can use this is a star mark from this chapter called baculovirus. We can use baculovirus. It's a virus. It's a virus under genus Nucleo polyhedrovirus. Polyhedrovirus. And इसका सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट है कि ये वायरस सिर्फ पर्टिकुलर स्पेसिफिक इंसेक्ट को ही मारता है, पेस्ट को ही मारता है. That means it becomes what? It is a narrow spectrum book में NCERT, and we are going to see these terms. And species specific, very important. So baculovirus ये इंसेक्ट को मारता है. So narrow spectrum है, broad spectrum नहीं है. Different types of इंसेक्ट को नहीं मारेगा, वो सिर्फ स्पेसिफिक इंसेक्ट को ही मारेगा. वो हमें चाहिए, अदरवाइज फूड चेन खराब हो जाएगा. And then it is a species specific. Fine. We'll talk about that. Just have a look. अच्छा, और एक चीज है, थोड़ा बोल देते हैं. ये बहुत कॉमन है. लेडी बर्ड का नाम सुना आपने? बीटल है. लेडी बर्ड is a beetle with a black and red markings. लेडी बर्ड ऑटोमेटिकली फार्मर क्या करते हैं? लेडी बर्ड को अपने क्रॉप में वो इंट्रोड्यूस करते हैं टू फीड ऑन एफिड्स. एफिड क्या है? पेस्ट है. तो ये इनका नेचुरल फूड है एफिड्स. सो लेडी बर्ड को छोड़ देंगे तो वो एफिड्स को खा लेंगे. सो दैट इज अ नॉर्मल बायोकंट्रोल एजेंट. ऑल्सो वी कैन, इन योर बुक we have talked about dragonflies. Dragonfly का फूड क्या है? मॉस्किटो का लार्वा. So they feed on mosquito larva. So मॉस्किटो लार्वा को खाएंगे तो अच्छा होगा, आपका मलेरिया होने का चांस कम है. Different types of mosquito borne जो डिजीज है, because they act as a vector, वो घटने का चांस ज्यादा है. So that is what is dragonflies. And also we can talk about, जो बुक में नहीं है, there is a fish called gambusia. Gambusia एक fish है which again feeds on the mosquito larva. Fine. And can stop dengue and all, malaria and dengue and all. So इस तरह के कुछ informations आपके NCERT में है. So let us talk about them. So what is the topic? The topic is about microbes as biocontrol agents. So the biocontrol refers to the use of biological methods for controlling plant diseases and pests. The use of biocontrol measures will greatly reduce our dependence on toxic chemicals and pesticide. Toxic chemicals and pesticide हमें कम यूज करना पड़ेगा या यूज नहीं करना पड़ेगा अगर हम बायोकंट्रोल एजेंट स्टार्ट कर दें यूज करना. In agriculture method, the controlling pest depends on natural predation rather than introduced chemical. So हम अगर natural predation करें, जैसे लेडी बर्ड का नेचुरल फूड क्या है? एफिड्स है। तो चलो इसको इंट्रोड्यूस कर दे हम क्रॉप में। ड्रैगन फ्लाई को इंट्रोड्यूस कर दे ताकि वो मॉस्किटो लार्वा खा लेगा। बैसिलस thuringiensis, बीटी अभी आपने देखा, बटरफ्लाई कैटरपिलर्स। ट्राइकोडर्मा ये एक ऐसा फंगस है, वी हैव ऑलरेडी टॉक्ड अबाउट इन द लास्ट टॉपिक, लास्ट क्लास। ट्राइकोडर्मा पॉलीस्पोरम, वो तो साइक्लोस्पोरिन ए बनाता है, which can act as immunosuppressive drug, which can act as immunosuppressive drug। पर यहां पे ट्राइकोडर्मा का और एक काम है, it can fight with the root-borne pathogen, जो पैथोजन रूट के माध्यम से इन्फेक्ट करता है प्लांट को, वी कैन गेट अ चेक बाय द यूसेज ऑफ ट्राइकोडर्मा। पैक्लोवायरस, न्यूक्लियोपॉलीहेड्रोवायरस वो जीनस का नाम है, इट कैन किल स्पेसिफिक इंसेक्ट्स। A very familiar beetle with red and black markings called ladybird, useful to get rid of aphids, and dragonflies are useful to get rid of mosquitoes. BT, Bacillus thuringiensis bacteria is an example of microbial biocontrol agents to control butterfly caterpillars. Butterfly caterpillar भी मरता है because butterfly caterpillar किसके पास, कौन से ऑर्डर में आएगा? डिप्टेरा के अंदर आएगा, डिप्टेरा के अंदर आएगा। और डिप्टेरा में क्या है? इन द मिडगट पेरिट्रॉफिक मेम्ब्रेन। तो यहाँ पे बीटी कॉलम की बात नहीं कही है, व्हाई? बिकॉज वी आर गोइंग टू स्टडी द सेम इन बायोटेक्नोलॉजी। दीज आर अवेलेबल in sachets as dried spores which are mixed with water and sprayed onto vulnerable plants such as brassicas matlab mustard, and fruit trees where these are eaten by the insect larva. ठीक है? In the gut of the larva, the toxin is released and the larva get killed. The bacterial disease will kill the caterpillars, but larva of other insects unharmed. So सिर्फ कैटरपिलर को नहीं मारेगा, दूसरे इंसेक्ट्स को नहीं मारने वाला है। Why? Because caterpillar comes under diptera, और डिप्टेरा के पास क्या है? पेरिट्रॉफिक मेम्ब्रेन is there on the midgut. Okay. Due to the advent of genetic engineering, BT toxin advent, याद रहे ये term. Due to the advent of genetic engineering, BT toxin genes is introduced into plants. Such plants are resistant to attack by the insect pest. BT cotton is one such example. Just now we have talked about that. Trichoderma fungus is used as a biological control in the treatment of plant diseases. Trichoderma species are free-living fungi, very, very important. They are free-living fungi. Free-living, important, huh? Free-living, what is the meaning of free-living? They are not symbiotic. Free-living fungi that are very common in root ecosystem. कहाँ पे रहता है? Root ecosystem में रहता है Trichoderma. They are effective biocontrol agents of several certain प्लांट पैथोजन। प्लांट के जो पैथोजेंस हैं उनको कंट्रोल करते हैं। दूसरे कोई बैक्टीरिया आएगा तो ये ट्राइकोडर्मा उसको मार देगा। Baculoviruses are pathogens that attack insects and other arthropods. Majority of the baculoviruses used as biocontrol agents are in the genus, very, very important, nucleopolyhedrovirus. Star mark point. Nucleopolyhedroviruses are excellent candidates for species specific. Nucleopolyhedroviruses are excellent candidates for species specific. Very, very important. Narrow spectrum insecticidal applications. They have been shown to have no negative impacts on plants, mammals, birds, fish, on non-target insects. देखो क्या इंपॉर्टेंट है? स्पीसीज स्पेसिफिक, दूसरे किसी ऑर्गेनिजम्स को वो हार्म नहीं करेगा, ना मैमल्स को हार्म करेगा, ना प्लांट को, ना बर्ड को, ना फिश को, और नॉन टारगेट इंसेक्ट को भी नहीं मारेगा। दिस इज स्पेशली डिजायरेबल व्हेन बेनिफिशियल इंसेक्ट्स आर बीइंग कंजर्व्ड। जब हम चाहते हैं कि जो बेनिफिशियल इंसेक्ट्स हैं वो ना मरे, टू एड इन एन ओवरऑल IPM. सो व्हाट इज IPM? इट इज कॉल्ड इंटीग्रेटेड पेस्ट मैनेजमेंट। So integrated pest management में किसको माइंड पे रखा जाता है? We have to take care of all the beneficial insects and kill only the harmful insects. That comes under IPM, integrated pest management program, or when an ecologically sensitive area is being treated. Fine. So that is about IPM. So microbes as biofertilizer, this is the ultimate particular topic which is left. इसमें मुझे ज़्यादा कुछ बोलने का नहीं है, because majority of the topics we have already covered in the topic called biological classification. Under biological classification, we have talked about, I think in plant kingdom also we have talked about mycorrhiza. So we are going to talk about mycorrhiza. In classification, biological classification, we have talked about blue-green algae, cyanobacteria. So चलो यहाँ पे थोड़ा देख लेते हैं, उसी का थोड़ा information दिया गया है. Biofertilizers are, so what we are not using, chemical fertilizer we are not using. We are using biofertilizers or organisms that increase the nutrient quality of the soil. ये क्या करता है? This increases the nutrient quality of the soil. This increases the nutrient quality of the soil, and main source of biofertilizers are bacteria, fungi and blue-green algae. क्या क्या है? Bacteria है, fungi है, and blue-green algae है. What is blue-green algae? It's a unicellular prokaryote. It's a unicellular prokaryote. Blue-green algae is also called as cyanobacteria. Leguminous plants, nodules on the roots formed by the symbiotic bacteria. क्या नाम है? Rhizobium leguminosarum. Rhizobium leguminosarum. Zarum. इसका काम क्या है? They remain a symbiotic association with the roots, and the root nodules they are present. So root nodules gives them shelter, and in turn root nodules को वो क्या देता है? They fix atmospheric nitrogen into nitrites and nitrates. So they are called nitrogen fixing bacteria. So rhizobium bacteria fix atmospheric nitrogen into organic forms, which is used by the plant as nutrient. वो क्या है? Nitrates and nitrites. Fungi form symbiotic association with roots of higher plants. कौन है भैया? Mycorrhiza. कौन से प्लांट में है? Pinus में. Pinus के roots में they are present mycorrhiza, and this mycorrhiza are of two types. One is ectomycorrhiza and one is endomycorrhiza. अब ये देखो endomycorrhiza जो पहले नीट में बहुत कॉमन क्वेश्चन था, जो बहुत साल से नहीं आ रहा है, endomycorrhiza. इसमें there is a VAM. There is a concept called VAM. What is VAM? VAM is called as vesicular arbuscular mycorrhiza. क्या नाम है? Vesicular arbuscular mycorrhiza. Vesicular arbuscular mycorrhiza. It's very, very important under endomycorrhiza. Fungi form symbiotic association with roots of higher plants called mycorrhiza. Many members of genus Glomus, very, very important. Mycorrhiza जब आएगा मन में, so what should come in your mind is Glomus. Genus mycorrhiza form mycorrhiza. So what is the name of the genus? Glomus is the name of the genus. In mycorrhiza, the fungi, some symbiont, absorbs phosphorus from soil. Very, very important. अगर आप 10 साल का क्वेश्चन पेपर देखो तो 3 साल में ये क्वेश्चन आ गया है. Absorbs phosphorus. So mycorrhiza, why it is important? It absorbs more phosphorus from the soil and pass into the plants. Clear? Plants having mycorrhizal association show other benefits also. Resistant to root-borne pathogens, tolerance to salinity and drought, and overall increase in plant growth and development. तीनों पॉइंट बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है आपके NCERT, आपके MCQ के लिए. These three can come as first option, second option, third option can come as as options in your MCQ. Plants having mycorrhizal association show other benefits. क्या क्या है? एक है resistant to root-borne pathogen. जिस plant में mycorrhiza है, उस plant is going to become resistant towards root-borne pathogens. Number one. Number two, it can act as a tolerance to salinity and drought, and overall increase in plant growth and development में बढ़ा देगा वो. Now, cyanobacteria, blue-green algae are autotrophic microbes. They can make their own food because they have the blue-green. What is green? Chlorophyll. Cyanobacteria are widely distributed in aquatic and terrestrial environment. और हम क्या जानते हैं about cyanobacteria? In the primitive atmosphere, it was only the carbon dioxide. It is only the cyanobacteria जो पहली बार oxygen release किए from the water body. Initially, the atmosphere was reducing. There were no free oxygen. The free oxygen start किया कौन? Cyanobacteria for the first time. Nostoc. What is the example of this cyanobacteria? The examples are nostoc, Nostoc, Anabina and Oscillatoria. Very important. Example क्या है? Nostoc, Anabina and Oscillatoria. जब Anabina आ गया तो Anabina जब हम बात करेंगे Anabina के तो always what comes in our mind? Azolla. Azolla क्या है? Azolla is a fern. So इस fern में रहता है Anabina. And Anabina और Azolla दोनों is an example of symbiotic association. So जहाँ पे Anabina क्या है? एक blue green algae है, unicellular prokaryote है. They remain binded with the Azolla, which is a fern, and fern को वो क्या देता है? Nitrogen fixation करके देता है. Azolla in turn gives shelter. This kind of association is symbiotic association. So these are three examples of blue green algae that can fix atmospheric nitrogen in paddy fields. Very important. Cyanobacteria serve as an important for biofertilizer. Paddy field को चाहिए क्या? Huge amount of nitrogen. Paddy field can only grow आपका better yield आएगा जब nitrogen content ज़्यादा रहेगा. तो paddy field में cyanobacteria has got a great role. Fine. BGA, blue green algae, also add organic matter to the soil and increase its fertility. Organic farming, ये देखो ये integrated farming में आ जाता है. Organic farming. Organic farming में क्या यूज नहीं करेंगे? Chemical fertilizer यूज नहीं करेंगे. We are not going to use any chemicals. So हमें क्या यूज करना पड़ेगा? बायो फर्टिलाइजर यूज करना पड़ेगा इन ऑर्गेनिक फार्मिंग. ठीक है, आज के दिन हम बेसिकली ये ज्यादा कैची टर्म है. If oxygen availability to activate sludge flocks is reduced, then center flocks will become anoxic, which would cause death of bacteria and eventually breakage of flocks. ये हम anaerobic digester में पढ़े थे ना. anaerobic digester में क्या होता है? ऑक्सीजन अवेलेबिलिटी नहीं रहता है एक्टिवेटेड स्लज में, तो क्या होगा? Center flocks will become anoxic. उसके लिए anoxygenic हो जाएगा, which will cause a death of the bacteria and eventually breakage of flocks. Flocks नष्ट हो जाएगा. जिसका मेन काम किसका है? Anaerobic digester का मेन काम है flocks को भी रिमूव कर देना. Its main function is to remove the flocks even. थोड़ा सा यहाँ पे देख लेते हैं. Microbes as biofertilizer. Number one, bacteria. क्या है? Symbiotic association. Example, rhizobium. Free living example, very important. Free living nitrogen fixing bacteria का नाम है Azotobacter and Azospirillum. Azotobacter and Azospirillum वो free living nitrogen fixing bacteria है. They never depend upon other organisms to survive. Fungi, they can form what? Mycorrhiza, example Glomus, and Cyanobacteria, example Nostoc, Anabina, and Oscillatoria. I think that's all about this particular topic. Fine. So let us start with some of the questions which are again going to revive. थोड़ा सा रिवीजन हो जाएगा. चलो थोड़ा सा क्वेश्चंस कर लेते हैं. Let us solve some of the questions. Tell me for the first one. Which of the following microbes is not involved in the preparation of household products? हाँ, household product में क्या यूज नहीं किया जाता है? Option Lactobacillus, not involved. It is Aspergillus niger and Trichoderma. A and C is answer. Next, conversion improves its nutritional vitamin B12. Vitamin B12. Probiotics are live microbial food supplements. Dough kept overnight in warm weather becomes soft and spongy because of fermentation. Because of fermentation. Which of the following is an example of non-distilled alcohol? Non-distilled is whiskey. No, beer. Non-distilled is beer. Whiskey, brandy, and rum are distilled. Streptokinase produced by bacterium Streptococcus is used for removing clots from blood vessels. Okay. Antibodies are chemicals produced by microbes that kill other microbes. Antibodies are chemicals formed in body that eliminate microbes. I think we have talked about that. A is the answer. Then Clostridium botulicum, butyric acid. Saccharomyces cerevisiae is ethanol. Trichoderma polysporum, cyclosporin A, Streptococcus streptokinase. Okay. Immunosuppressive drug, Trichoderma polysporum. This Aspergillus niger, citric acid, Clostridium acetic acid, Aspergillus citric acid, Clostridium botulicum, butyric acid, Lactobacillus lactic acid. Okay, Clostridium butylicum, butyric acid, trichoderma, cyclosporin A, Monocytus perpetuus, blood cholesterol lowering agent, Aspirants niger, citric acid. Match the following up with the products they produce: lactobacillus, curd, Saccharomyces, cheese. Oh, sorry, bread. Okay, this question is wrong in any ways. Cyclosporin, blood cholesterol lowering agent, statins. Which of the following is currently matched for the product produced by them?
C.
Saccharomyces cerevisiae, ethanol. Then this is again, we have done it already. Okay, we have done it already. A good producer of citric acid is Aspergillus. Monocytus perpetuus is commercially in Streptokinase. No. Monocytus perpetuus, the blood cholesterol lowering agent. Statin. A patient brought to hospital with viral infarction. Streptokinase. Yeast is used in the production of bread and beer. Heart. No, organ transplantation. Heart, organ transplant. Organ transplant, trichoderma. Heart. What is it? This is? Which of the? Oh, acha. A drug used for dash patient is obtained from a species of the organism. A drug used for dash patient is obtained from a species of the organism. A drug used for organ transplant patient is obtained from a species of organism, Psychoderma. Which one of the following is wrong matching of microbes? Yeast statins, A. Which of the following statements about methanogens is not correct? They produce methane gas. They can be used to produce biogas. They are found in the rumen of cattle and their excreta. They grow aerobically and break down cellulose-rich food. D is not correct. Okay. In the guts of cow and buffalo possess methanogens. What is it? In gobar gas, the maximum amount is that of methane. What is the percentage? 75%. And 25% is 70%. 25% is carbon dioxide. Gobar gas contains methane and carbon dioxide. Select the correct statements regarding dissolved oxygen and biochemical oxygen demand. BOD is inversely related to dissolved oxygen. Low dissolved oxygen and high BOD lead to loss of aquatic life. Correct. High BOD leads to high dissolved oxygen. No. Both BOD and dissolved oxygen are indicator of health of water body. Right. Both BOD and dissolved oxygen are affected by amount of organic matter in the water body. Right. So what is the answer? A, C and E. No, A, D. Both BOD and dissolved oxygen indicator of health and A, B, D, E. The last option is answer. Which of the following is put into anaerobic sludge digester for further sewage treatment? Which of the following is put into anaerobic sludge digester for further sewage treatment? Yes, activated sludge. A biological agent to be a part of an integrated pest management should be species specific and inactive on non-target, species specific and symbiotic, free living and broad spectrum, narrow spectrum and symbiotic. A is the answer, species specific and inactive or non-target. Select the correct group of biological agents: Bacillus thuringiensis, tobacco mosaic. Okay? Select the correct group of biocontrol agent. Trichoderma, baculovirus, pusillus. Very good. B is the answer. Which of the following can be used as a biocontrol agent in the treatment of plant disease? Trichoderma. Which of the following organisms cannot fix nitrogen?
Volvox.
Volvox cannot. Nostoc is there. Okay, Nostoc can do it. Among the following pairs of microbes, which pair has both the microbes that can be used as biofertilizer? Cyanobacteria and Rhizobium. Which of the following macros forms symbiotic association with plants and helps them in the nutrition? In their nutrition.
Nutrition.
Symbiotic
Association.
association with plants and help them in nutrition. Glomus. Glomus. The common nitrogen fixer in paddy field
Like,
is
is
paddy field. The common nitrogen fixer in paddy field is oscillatoria. It's a Frankia, I think.
thank you so very
Azospilum oscillatoria, the round nitrogen fixer in nitrogen fixer. Azospilum is bacteria. Now, rhizobium is bacteria, not with paddy field. Oscillatoria is the answer. Oscillatoria is the cyanobacteria. Bluegin algae. Which of the following is not used in the organic farming? Not used in organic farming. Glomus is used, oscillator is used, artworm is used. Snail. For reading of jute, the fermenting microbes is butyric acid bacteria. Fine. Which of the following is a pair of biofertilizer? Pair of biofertilizer. Azolla and bluegin algae. Azolla. Pair of biofertilizer. No, Azolla is a fern. Nostoc and legumes, rhizobium and grasses, Salmonella. B. Nostoc and legumes. Leguminous plant contains rhizobium bacteria. Nostoc is a bluegin algae. That's all, I think. That's all. Yes. That's all about this chapter called Microbes in Human Welfare. Go through the particular videos, write down your own notes, make your own notes. Then, after watching the video, read thoroughly about the NCERT and then solve questions. Most important thing आप लोगों के लिए है वो है हर दिन 25-25 क्वेश्चंस फिजिक्स और केमिस्ट्री में करो, बायोलॉजी में 100 क्वेश्चंस करने के लिए कोशिश करो. टेक दिस टारगेट. Initially 50 questions in biology and then try to make 50, 50 and 100 questions every day so that you are there in your dream college, medical college. That's all for now. We're going to come up with a new topic and then very next day. Chalo, that's it.